So you want to start cosplaying, but you feel overwhelmed by perfect Instagram photos, by 700 euro costumes, or by people who seem to have been sewing since birth. Let's fix that. Today I want to give you a rough overview of what I think is important to know when you start cosplaying. It's nothing exhaustive, but some realistic advice that would have helped me at the beginning of my cosplay journey. Welcome or welcome back to my little crafting corner of the internet. I am Annie, cosplayer of 15 years, and I really believe cosplay should be fun and accessible for everybody. The background today is a little bit boring because I am recording from my Airbnb. I just moved recently and cannot get into my new flat yet. That's why I'm in the Airbnb, but I still wanted to sit down and chat about cosplay with you. So let's get into the things you should know before starting cosplay. Number 1. Understand what cosplay is and what cosplay is not. If you clicked on this video, you probably have a rough idea what cosplay is. The word comes from costume and play. So we dress up as characters from fandoms we love and bring them to life. In photos, at conventions, or sometimes even on stage. Simple enough, right? But I think it's equally as important to understand what cosplay is not. Cosplay is not a competition. Unless you are entering an actual cosplay contest, you are not competing with anyone. I mean, we are all just nerds who like to dress up as fictional or historical characters. Also, cosplay is not a baseline for how you should look. You do not have to look like a character to cosplay them. You don't need the same body type, the same height or face shape or anything like that. You are allowed to exist in your own body and still portray the characters you love. Cosplay is definitely not consent. Wearing a costume is not a free pass for harassment. Neither to be harassed nor to harass anyone. I'm looking at you, Deadpool cosplayers. And lastly, cosplay is not limited to a certain age. I've met cosplayers as young as 10 and as old as over 70. There is no expiration date on dressing up as your favorite character. Number 2. Choosing the right character. Choosing the right character as your first or even second cosplay is incredibly important. It needs to be someone you genuinely want to cosplay. Making a cosplay takes time, effort, and money. If you only feel meh about a certain character, you lose motivation very quickly. It does not matter how famous or popular the character is. Cosplay is not about how many people will recognize you at a convention, but about how much fun you have portraying the character. One of my cosplays, Louise Belcher from Bob's Burgers, is hardly ever recognized at conventions, but I still love to wear her. It's a super comfy cosplay and I just love Bob's Burgers. So I will keep wearing her, and the few people who do recognize me at the convention always make my day. Probably the most important thing about choosing the right character, though, is to be realistic about your skill level. If you're completely new to sewing or foam crafting, maybe don't start with a Monster Hunter armor set or a giant Wicked style ball gown. You can absolutely work up to that, but it will take time and practice. When I started cosplaying, my dream was to make Edward Scissorhands, but I waited 15 years before actually doing it. And honestly, it was the right decision. It was still very challenging, but at the beginning of my cosplay journey, it would have been overwhelming and discouraging, and I might even have stopped cosplaying because of it. Ambition is good, but being realistic is more important. Looking back at my footage just now, I realize it sounds a lot like I'm saying don't cosplay the characters you actually want to cosplay, which is contradicting what I said before. And that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have to be realistic about where you're at in your skill levels and what you want to cosplay. If you're ready to sacrifice 2 years and a lot of nerves for your first cosplay, be my guest. You should definitely do that. But it is easier to start cosplay with an easy cosplay. I hope that makes sense. Also, maybe leave a comment and let me know what your big dream cosplay is. I'm very curious to read. Number 3, start simple. One of the things I love about cosplay is that it lets me learn new skills all the time. Through cosplay, I've learned sewing, embroidery, foam crafting, prop making, and even resin casting. But you do not have to start with all of that. Look at what you already have or are already good at. Does a friend or a relative have an old sewing machine you can borrow? That's perfect. Did you find a thrifted dress you can slightly alter into a casual version of a character? That's amazing! Or could you borrow a costume from a friend just to see how it feels to wear one at a convention? That is completely valid. You do not need expensive tools, a 3D printer, or a fully equipped workshop to start cosplaying. Start where you are and use what you have. As a rule of thumb though, I try to not test more than one new technique per cosplay. For my Darth Nihilus cosplay, I did tablet weaving for the first time. Shameless plug, if you haven't watched my Darth Nihilus videos yet, you should definitely go and do that after you finish this video. For my Edward Scissorhands cosplay, I worked with resin and made silicone molds for the first time. And for my Fizzarolli cosplay, I did bead embroidery for the first time. But all the other techniques in those costumes were things I've done before and felt comfortable doing again. Number 4. Proper planning and research. I wish I could tell you that a well-planned cosplay is a stress-free cosplay. But at least for me, that is not always true. Sometimes, mostly not. But planning still makes a huge difference. You should always think about questions like, when do you want to wear the cosplay and when do you realistically need to start? What materials do you need? Do they need to be shipped? How long will that take? Are you on a budget right now? And then there is the classical struggle, finding good reference images. Try to get 360-degree views if possible. Look at screenshots, look at fan art, official art, anything that helps you understand how the costume actually works. Even looking at other cosplays can help. And reaching out to cosplayers who have made the same cosplay before can be an incredible source of information. Because these other cosplayers already spent countless hours thinking about how to translate a certain aspect of a costume or a character into their cosplay. And typically they are more than happy to share this information. But honestly, proper planning and research as a topic probably deserve their own video sometime. Let me know if you want a more deep dive into that topic. Lastly, number 5, have fun. This might sound cheesy as a last tip, but I wholeheartedly mean it. Don't take cosplay too seriously. I know social media being everywhere, it feels like every cosplay has to be polished and perfect, but that is not true. And most importantly, that is not what cosplay is about, in my opinion. In my opinion, cosplay is about dressing up, meeting up with friends, meeting new people who are into the same fandoms as you are, and escaping reality for a few hours or a convention weekend. I sincerely hope that these tips can help you start your cosplay journey. Just give it a try. What is the worst that can happen? If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If there is anything you want me to talk about more, like planning a cosplay for example, let me know about that as well. Until next time.